Time of the Huntress moon. A story. Once upon a time, in a land far beyond the highest snow-capped mountains and dense emerald forests, far beyond the indigo waves of the vast oceans, and yet further beyond the shorelines of the familiar, was a land that only a few had discovered. A land that lay in the imaginal realm, like a misty mirage in the dusky corners of dreams that would descend at night. Some had even wondered if there was such a place, a dream place that would hold all their desires and wishes, fulfill their heart's longings, and give them a deep sense of belonging. The wise ones said there was such a place, a Shangri-La of magic and exquisite mystery that lay beyond the liminal, veiled borders of imagination. One had to be brave enough to take this journey alone, to leave the familiar world of enticements, wounds, and weary stories, to set oneself free from the captivity of the past. The journey would be the guide. All one would need was to say, "Yes, I am ready. I am ready." At this time of the November full moon, we are asked to invoke the lunar power of the Huntress archetype, with its qualities of strength, sovereignty, keen intuition, truth, and courage. We're asked to stand in the light of our unique, authentic expression and steer the helm of our ship, knowing that we are the creators of our destiny, the shapers of our truth. We are asked to trust that living from this place of sacred intention, we can step into the beckoning arms of our future with deep joy and trust. Today, as we find ourselves being challenged by the seismic shocks of dissolution and chaos around us, each of us has to ask ourselves, how are we seeking to move into this new world? What wounds and sorrows from our past are we ready to release? What imaginal threshold would we like to walk across? What brave future are we seeking to live into? Our questions, the ones we ask, the ones we do not ask, the ones we are afraid of asking, all shape our destiny. To cross the imaginal threshold into our future, we have to be willing to sit with these questions, difficult as they may at first seem. I remember that moment when I had to face the question. I felt as if my past had now pushed me out. It was my 60th birthday. I was standing at a beach in Nantucket, feeling broken, exhausted, confused, lost. I felt burnt out by my life. And I worried, could this be the rest of my life? Is this who I am? Is this who I am becoming? And I sensed that I had come to the end of an old story, that I was tired of a particular way of being in the world. I wondered, what would it be like to live into a new future with new dreams and desires? What would it be like to change my story? No longer seeing my future simply as a repetition of my past, but rather as a radical new way of being in the world. As I gazed out at the ocean waves for some time, these questions seemed to lift me up. I felt a sudden sense of joy, a feeling of possibility, as if I was ready to say yes to envisioning a bright future. And then I opened my arms wide, almost dizzy with delight, and declared to the ocean that my 6th decade was going to be an exuberant one. That word came through quickly. I loved the sound of it. And then, just as quickly, came the next question. Well, that's great, but how are you going to do this? This how question can be a terrible question when you are just beginning to birth your imaginal future. It can quickly sabotage the best of intentions. It is often premature, because how could I know at that moment, standing at that beach, what my exuberant future would look like? All I knew was that I desired it and I intended it. Out of this commitment came the 2 vital questions that would end up shaping my destiny. My 2 questions were, what do I love? And how will I contribute what I love to my world? Within 9 months of that beach moment, I had moved to a wonderful new town, met a new community of friends, created a new initiative of leading retreats in the foothills of the Himalayas in India, and began to create the foundations of a happy life, one that nourishes and supports me to this day. Those 2 questions had become my lanterns into my new story. So as you too begin to claim the archetype of the Huntress this November moon and discover how you want to light the path into your future with your authentic gifts and unique expressions, consider these 2 questions. They will not lead you astray. I promise.